guys, welcome to Fantasy Tipped, your ultimate guide for fantasy hockey advice. This is Max here with you for the Week 24 weekend ads. This is a very special week. A lot of you guys are in semifinals. Some of you guys are already in finals, and some of you guys are already done. If you're looking for an edge for your fantasy hockey playoffs, you've come to the right place. Don't go anywhere. In this video, we're going to be diving deep into the best available options and the best players to find on the waiver wire. Without further ado, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the schedule. On Friday, we have 4 games. On Saturday, we have a big 13, and on Sunday, we have 9 games. For the Friday and Saturday section, we have 3 teams: the Arizona Coyotes, the Buffalo Sabres, and the Dallas Stars. At number 1, we have Nick Schmaltz, 44% rostered. It's absolutely nuts that this guy isn't even 60% rostered. He's absolutely tearing it up right now. Be confident if he's available in your leagues, and do yourself a favor, jump on him. Right under, his teammate, Barrett Hayton. I know some of you guys might be thinking, wow, this guy's crazy going all in on the Coyotes. But let me tell you something. The Arizona Coyotes are a completely different beast on home ice compared to when they are on the road. Even if they're playing in front of 5,000 people at home, they are a lot better than what people give them credit for. Barrett Hayton centers the first line, the first power play, and he's been really hot in the last month. At number 3, Dylan Cousins, who could get a massive boost once again if Tage Thompson isn't playing this weekend. We also have Matthias Maccelli, no peripherals, but an amazing playmaker, one of the best options under 10% right now in fantasy hockey. We also have Lawson Krause. I am a proud owner of Krause, and I haven't been disappointed in my Cats leagues. This guy has 20 goals, a bunch of hits, a bunch of shots. I will feel confident on starting him this weekend. We also have Tyler Seguin, who plays with Max Domi, and he's been very consistent recently. He has a goal and an assist in his last 3 games. Unfortunately for Dallas, I believe they have the worst weekend schedule between the 3 teams. They are playing in Arizona and in Colorado. 2 amazing home teams. Therefore, I will skip on most of the Dallas Stars players for this weekend. I want to mention that the Stars are actually my favorite team in the West, so there is no bias here. I love the Stars. I just don't think they are in a great spot. And finally, JJ Peterka. This guy was one of my favorite players during the World's Junior Championship when he represented Germany. I am very happy he's doing well in Buffalo, and he's kind of going under the radar behind the Casey Middlestad, the Jack Quinns, and the Dylan Cousins. He is locked on the second line right now with the last 2 guys I mentioned, and he's got 9 points in his last 9 games. This guy is only 1% rostered. Now let's jump into the Friday and Sunday section, where we have the Calgary Flames, the Detroit Red Wings, the New York Rangers, the Vancouver Canucks, and the Winnipeg Jets. At number 1, locked in on a line with GT Miller, we have Brock Besser, who is also on the PP1. He has been extremely solid recently with 6 points in his last 3 games. Ride the hot wave if you can. We also have Mikael Backlund, probably a sure top 5 under 50% rostered this season. Backlund, who plays with Jonathan Huberdeau, is a safe option for all kinds of league. Don't be shy. We also have David Perron, fresh off of a hat trick last week. Perron is heating up, first line minutes with Dylan Larkin. Odds are that he keeps producing. For the next player, let me start off by admitting I am not a big fan. I dislike Mangiapane, but top line with Tyler Toffoli and Elias Lindholm, add in PP1 time, this guy's in a great spot. He scored a power play goal on Tuesday, and he could very well do it again this weekend. At number 5, Nino Niederreiter. The Jets went from playoff lock to screw it, I don't want it anymore. Not the greatest stats recently for Nino. He only has a point in his last 7 games, but as of now, he does get first line minutes, and he is on the PP1. Nino is at your own risk. He's a decent option. And I would add that he is a better option than Blake Wheeler due to Blake's low peripheral and the fact that he hasn't done a point in the last 7 games. We also have Andrew Kopp centering the second line, second power play, second penalty kill. A very good option and bonus points if your league counts faceoffs. Up next, we have Philip Hedl centering the third line and second power play. Still playing with Capo Caco and Alexis Lafreniere, the usual suspects. He remains a decent option for this weekend, although his production lightly went down from the last couple of months. You also have Lucas Raymond. It's been a disappointing year for Raymond, who's suffering from sophomore slump, but second line play and top power play makes him a decent option. We talked about Blake Wheeler, 7 games without a point, no hits, very risky pickup. Like I said, Niederreiter has more exposure, first line minutes, first power play. Wheeler remains Wheeler, still a very capable player and a great playmaker. For the juicy section of the video, the Saturday and Sunday section, we have 12 teams. We have the Anaheim Ducks, the Boston Bruins, the Carolina Hurricanes, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the LA Kings, the New Jersey Devils, the New York Islanders, the Ottawa Senators, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the St. Louis Blues, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. At number 1, Jake DeBrusk. This one is for all my shallow leaguers who want nothing to do with players under 20% rostered. Here he is at 74% owned. DeBrusk is having the best season of his career on a line with Bergeron and Marchand. That's enough said. If he's available, jump on him. Right under, we have one of my favorite players, Boone Jenner, 38% rostered. If there's one bright spot in Columbus, it's him. The guy hits, he wins faceoffs, he blocks shots, and he's having a stellar offensive season. He's possibly on his way to a 50-point season. He has no business being under 40% rostered. We also have Braden Shen, who has points in 9 of his last 10 games, with 3 multi-point performances during that stretch. The reason the Blues are not doing well in the standings is not because they can't score goals. It's because of their terrible defense and their bad goaltending. With that being said, at number 4, another Blues player, Jakub Vrana, 8 goals, 2 assists, 10 points in the last 11 games, plays alongside Shen on PP1. Expect low peripherals, but the guy can score. We also have Jason Zucker, go ahead without any hesitation. The king of residual points is in a great spot, as always, with Yevgeny Malkin. We also have Dawson Mercer, still first line with Nico Hischier and Timo Meyer. He went scoreless in 6 of his last 7, but he's still the best option out of the Devils on the waiver wire. His offensive ceiling is very high, and he already has 51 points this season. Now we're jumping on to Owen Tippett. The Flyers are losing games, but the top 6 is still producing. Tippett got a hat trick recently and has been very consistent. He remains a safe choice. Now, at number 8, this is my favorite player of the entire video. I went and got Kapanen before playoffs when he was still at 1%. The only reason I'm still in my most important league's semifinal is because of this guy. I truly believe he found his home in St. Louis. I called him a league winner weeks ago, and I stick by my word. At only 8% rostered right now, he's available in most leagues, and I'm telling you guys, he is probably the best option. He has 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points in the last 7 games, including 2 game-winning goals. His shots and hits are very decent as well. This guy should be rostered a lot more than 8%. You can call him my Manscaped player of the video. We also have Brian Rust. The rostered percentage between him and Zucker finally decreased. Although he plays with Sidney Crosby and Jake Guentzel, I still believe Zucker to be the better player. Rust is still playing with world-class players. Therefore, he remains dangerous. We also have the Pizza Man, Phil Danault, 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points in his last 10 games. Just a solid second-line center and playing with quality players in Arvidsson and Kevin Fiala. 2% rostered player Noah Cates on a rebuilding Flyers team. He's got a goal, 5 assists, 6 points in the last 5 games, centering the first line and the PP1. Another Flyers, Joel Farabee. He had a 5-game point streak snapped last game. Farabee is a player who operates on hot splurges, and we might be in the middle of one. He also is on the PP1. Shane Pinto getting a lot better on the faceoff circle. 4 points in the last 7, even does nice numbers in the hits and block department, and plays with quality players. Only 5% rostered. And finally, Seth Jarvis, still on the Carolina Hurricanes top line. 7-game scoring slump. Not attractive, you might think, but listen, he's on the first line, and it only takes 1 game for them to really click. High risk, high reward pick here, but playing with Aho and the cash should help him. Now on to defensemen. At number 1, you guessed it, Jeff Petrie. I know he's injury prone, but listen, he's been excellent when healthy. On his game back Tuesday, he played almost 25 minutes like nothing happened, and he got an assist, 3 shots, and 2 blocks. I still believe he's a waiver wire pickup league winner in leagues where he's still available. Do yourself a favor and go get Jeff Petrie. Peripherals, literally all kinds of league. Category leagues, points league, name it. This guy should be good. At number 2, Shane Gostisbehere. First power play with Brent Burns. 3 assists in the last 5 games. Modest number, but playing with dangerous guys. At number 3, taking Thomas Chabot's spot on the PP1 and just as the number 1 defenseman in Ottawa, Jake Sanderson. This could be a huge hit or it could be a huge bust. I'm leaning towards the hit. We're going heavy on the Arizona Coyotes forward, so why not include their top defenseman, Juuso Välimäki? At the moment, he's still PP1, and before last game, he had shots and blocks in each of his last 11 games, including 8 points during that stretch. Torrey Krug, offensive defenseman, top power play with the Blues, great vision, doesn't hit much. He does well in the block department, so if he goes cold offensively, it's not going to do you good. He's still a decent option. Tony DeAngelo, top power play in Philadelphia. Dmitry Orlov, 32 points on the season, first pairing on the best team in the entire NHL. No power play time, but he remains a solid option, especially around all that quality. We also have Mickey Anderson, who I absolutely love. Amazing peripherals, blocks shots, hits, shoots, plays over 20 minutes per game, and exposure to a great complete offense. He has 20 points on the season and a plus 20. Another defenseman with heavy usage, Keandre Miller. Decent points, good peripherals all around. He exploded for 4 points on March 19. That can happen when you play with Tarasenko, Patrick Kane, Zibanejad, and Panarin. He has 1 assist in 4 games since. At number 10, Philip Hronek. With what he's given us in his first 4 games with the Canucks, we see that the biggest value in having Hronek is his heavy time on ice. 22.07 was the lowest he's got since arriving to Vancouver. He doesn't do a lot of residual points either, so it would be pretty bad if he goes cold offensively. He's a risky option with a decent ceiling. At number 11, Ryan Sutter. 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points in his last 12 games. Kind of reminiscent of his old self. We also have Noah Hanifin, 55% rostered. Before going scoreless in the last 3 games, he was riding a 5-game point streak. Other players should be more rostered than him, but he remains a decent option for the weekend if he's available in your league. I still think there's better options at lower percentage. Up next, Adam Boqvist. If Columbus produces on the power play, you know Boqvist is not far away. Don't be scared just because he plays on the Blue Jackets. I know his plus minus isn't terrific, but he's a very good offensive defenseman, and he quarterbacks that power play pretty well. And finally, at number 14, Rasmus Ristolainen, 3 points in his last 3 games. This guy's able to hit and block very well. Other low percentage options that I want to mention are Jake Wallman, 2% rostered, top pairing defenseman in Detroit with Sider. Plays over 20 minutes a game. He's got 10 blocks in the last 4 games. Damon Severson at 20%, risky option due to his low residuals. 6 points in the last 8 games. And also Cam Fowler offensive defenseman on the worst offensive team in the league. Poor guy. He's a risky option with a high ceiling for points league. Before I head on to the goalies and categories, I wanted to talk about some interesting spots I noticed this week. First off, Dakota Joshua, 1% rostered, was spotted on the first line with Pedersen and Kuzmenko, and he stayed there. So if you're in a really, really deep leagues and none of the guys I mentioned are available, look for a guy like that. Just a nice grinder that plays with quality players. You never know when it's going to hit. And at 1% rostered, I'm pretty sure he's available in your league. Another interesting fact, Nikita Nesterenko. I tried to add him, and he wasn't even in the system. So that's one. And notable and high percentage guys to drop. Owen Power, 45%. Michael Bunting, 61%, now on the third line with Sam Lafferty and Wayne Simmons. I think he's a drop in most leagues. And finally, Thomas Chabot, who just got injured, will probably miss the remainder of the season, at least the remainder of the fantasy playoffs. So those are the three guys I wouldn't stick by. Now on to the goalie streams. We have a couple options. First up, Matt Murray. If he gets the matchup at home versus Detroit, I think he's a lock to be the top goalie to aim for on Sunday. We also have Jonas Korpisalo, only 2 losses since joining the Kings. With a game in Vancouver, this could go both ways, but I'm confident in Korpi to have a good performance the way he's been playing. We also have Mads Sugard, 3 consecutive games where he allowed 2 goals and less. A game in Columbus would make him the top low percentage rostered keeper for Sunday. So this is the big guy to remember. Felix Sandstrom, yes, he is 2 wins, 10 losses, and 2 overtime loss. But this is an interstate rivalry game, and crazier things have happened. I throw the records out of the way when it's regional matchups. If you're stuck and no goalies are available, and Sandstrom is your only option, why not? And last but not least, as bad as St. Louis defense efforts are, the reason why Jordan Binnington or Thomas Greiss are last in these rankings, even behind Sandstrom, who has 2 wins in 14 games, is simply because they're playing Boston, and I don't like what I'm foreseeing. Last Monday, I benched Saros against Boston. That costed me. But even looking back, it was the right decision. When you have a team full of youngsters or a team full of third liners playing the Boston Bruins, you don't want to put a goalie in there. Now on to the categories. Of course, we'll start with the shots. First, the King Boone Jenner at 3.3, Mikael Backlund at 3.2, Trevor Moore and Frank Vetrano at 2.8, Jakub Vrana at 2.8. We have Jason Zucker at 2.7, Troy Terry, Kevin Hayes, and Brian Rust at 2.6. And we also have Tyler Seguin at 2.5. As for the blocks, we have Andrew Peak at 2.5, Ben Sherratt at 2.3, Ivan Provorov at 2.1, his teammate Rasmus Ristolainen at 2, Scott Mayfield and Jake Wallman at 2. We have Jake McCabe at 1.9, Marcus Pedersen and Travis Hamonic at 1.9 as well. As for the hits, this one is a tricky one. Luke Shen at 4.6, the best hitter in the NHL. Watch out. Sometimes he gets healthy scratched. This is a risky one. Radko Smash Gudis at 4.3. We have Nick Delory at 3.9, Jack McBain at 3.6, Sammy Blais at 3.4, Garnet Hathaway at 3.2, Jeff Petrie and Noah Lacheri at 3.2 as well, and Nick Ricci at 3. And finally, for the face-offs, last but not least, at number 1, Boone Jenner 11.3, Jean-Gabriel Pajot 10.3, Jordan Stahl 10.2, Mikael Backlund 8.6 a game, Phil Danault at 8.5, Sean Corrali 7.8, Barrett Hayton at 7.6, Andrew Kopp at 7.7, David Kampf at 7.2, and Adam Lowry at 7.1. And that's it for today, folks. Thank you very much for staying the entire time with me. I hope you guys get a big W this weekend. If you're in Money League, I hope you make some money. If you're in it for the fun, I hope you win and you had fun. And if you're going to have a heartbreaking loss, it's okay. There's always next year. And we're not going anywhere. We'll be there for you. On this note, good luck to everyone once again. And I will catch you guys real soon. Cheers, guys.